it's strange to actually think about being invited to do one of these things. I think Corey's up here because he's popular and successful. I think I'm up here because I got gray hair and been in it for a while. But it's kind of funny to be even asked to do a business talk or tell your history and what you've learned. But I'm just like one of you guys, just running a business, trying to be successful, trying to make good decisions and flying by the seat of my pants half the time. And the things that work look like I was really wise, but most of the time it's probably dumb luck. But you still learn lessons from it. Started with, before '97, I was working on my own, doing some small contracting work. Me and another guy were subbing off each other and doing small contracts. We started doing a bunch of ag stuff, and in '97, I was asked to manage the ag division of what at that time Silveridge Homes was starting a new division in the ag industry. And I don't know if Dave Jackson made it tonight. He was going to be here, but Dave actually introduced me to the owner of Silveridge Homes at that time to run and manage the ag division for them. I brought in a friend of mine, Marv Workentine, and he was in charge of the production of the ag division, and I was in charge of the sales and management of that ag division. And it became clear really quickly that the rest of the company, the owner was trying a bunch of different things, but the rest of the company was losing money drastically. And by this time we had brought in a bunch of customers, and not customers, but a bunch of suppliers and trades that we were now in debt with. And the only part of the business that was making money was the ag division. So we went to the owners, Marv and I went to the owners, and what we did was we said, we'll stay and clean up this debt, because it was with people that we had brought to the table. Actually, KB that's the only company here back then was still with us. Lafarge was also with us then, that we had brought to the table, and we said, we need to clean this up before we'll leave. But at that point, when we clean that debt up, we'll either buy the company or we'll be gone ourselves. But we felt responsible because we had brought some of these guys to the table. So they shut the rest of the business down, and we just did the ag division. And in '99, Marv Workentine and myself bought the company. We did only ag work for the first 3-4 years, and I was corrected tonight. Bruce, who's been with us right from the start, corrected me. We started some of our commercial work in 2001 already, but we really changed the focus in about 2004. We were doing more of it, about half and half, and by 2006 we moved completely to commercial work. In 2004, my partner at that time asked me to buy him out. For various reasons. It was very amiable, and I bought Marv out in 2004, completed the deal in 2005, and so my wife and I owned it ourselves after that, until we have brought more partners in from within the company as of late, but that's coming later. The first 4 or 5 years of the commercial work we did part of it was tendered work, bid out to whoever had work to bid, but a large portion of it was for 1 or 2 customers that were doing development work. And we got to know the development work starting with tenants and with landlord work, and we started to learn that business. And what we learned from that was there was a real gap in the market at that time that needed to be satisfied. What was happening was there'd be tenants who needed a space and were willing to pay X dollars per square foot. And there was landlords who had a building or who had dirt and who wanted to build and wanted a return on investment. And a realtor brought them together, and they thought, okay, the deal's done. But what was happening was a bunch of these things were going to design, then going out for pricing, and coming back with a price that doesn't make sense. Either the landlord wasn't getting his return, or the tenant was paying way more per square foot. And so after 8 months, and the only guy that was making money was the designer, the deal would fall apart, and the realtors were frustrated. And we saw this gap in the market that we decided that if we go after this niche where it's real simple math. I need 20,000 feet, I can pay $17, and the landlord wants to make 8%, that determines the cost of the project. So if we as the builder can control that and say this is where the target is, then we've taken out all the guesswork. We've gotten rid of a bunch of the variables right out the gate. And so that's the niche we went after. For me to go after that, I needed to bring in some other partners. Chad Billiard came in on that part, and I gave the production side to a couple of other partners from within. And that's how we took care, and we went hard after that niche. We still go after tendered work at this time. We still go after bid work where the low guy gets it. Some stuff with the city, some stuff with other customers. And that's fun to get those jobs when you just have the best number. But it's not nearly as satisfying as the partnerships we've built with customers who now you've become a partner with both the tenant, the landlord, the banks. Everybody has to win for this project to actually make sense. And that feels way more like a partnership and way more fun for us to work through those projects than just get the lowest number and then battle through it to the end. And we still do there's a portion of our works that way, but the vast majority of it is partnership work where we're working for repeat customers by referrals, where we've got a team together of tenants and landlords and finance companies, and everybody has skin in the game to make this succeed. And those are fun. Those are really fun, and that's become a very satisfying part of our business. One of the things we've learned in that process is that we have an obligation, if we want to succeed and actually make it more fun, we have to make both the developer, the tenant, the banks, the realtors, we have to make their life as easy as possible. They've all got businesses to run, they've all got other things to do. If we can take something off of their plate that makes their life easier, that's going to only mean more business for us, and it's actually our wheelhouse that we should be good at. So the realtors, I mean, we get lots of referrals because we take a portion of their work, help them close deals. We get banks that come to us, and we've partnered on a whole bunch of projects with James Barch, that's twice now, with James at Servus where we help put a project together because we're working both to achieve something rather than just we're on opposite sides, beat them down, this kind of thing. It's a partnership kind of approach. Matt, we've done a ton of projects with you. There's other developers that we've done lots of work with. Some more customers over here. And so that's fun when you can work together and achieve those kinds of goals. And so our job is to make all of their lives easier by taking things off their plates. And I lean heavily on my staff for that, on the production side and on the sales side, that we can achieve some of those things. Another thing I've done to try to make this whole system work better that I saw was a real problem in the mid-2000, around 2004 or 5, is I was doing sales and running production, kind of orchestrating the whole thing. And the split, when Silver Ridge made a split between sales and production, we coordinate it, but we keep a separation there. We've gained a ton from doing that, because what was happening was production would get so busy, and you've probably seen it in your own businesses. Production gets so busy that you just get tired of chasing new stuff, and you start to let that slide because there's no way we can manage anymore. But the reality of our business is that a lot of those things don't come to fruition for 8, 10 months, maybe a year down the road. And so if you're not going hard after those things when production is busy, all of a sudden 6 months later you're hitting a dip. And it's probably not only in construction. It probably happens in everybody's business, but we were running into that. So my job is to have those two divisions. I coordinate between those two divisions and make sure everybody's talking and we're not promising things that we can't fulfill. We're not working with budgets that are unrealistic. All of those kinds of things. But it's been a real benefit to separate those two things while they stay coordinated. So that's a juggle, and you got to make sure they're talking, but keep them separate. So that's another thing I've learned in that process. I've got production guys that are way better at building stuff than me, and I've got sales teams that are way better at selling than me. But what probably my biggest gift is, and what I'm most thankful for, is that I'm I'm a good team builder. And as a business owner, if you're not prepared to give stuff away and empower people, you're limiting the whole process if you're not prepared to give stuff away. I'm continually inspired by a guy named Horst Schulze, who used to be the chairman of the board for Ritz-Carlton. And he has a quote that says, "To hire strictly for function is immoral." And my interpretation of that is to say that if you want to hire, you don't hire a chair, you buy a chair. If you want to hire strictly to get a guy to hit a nail with a hammer, then you're limiting him and you're limiting your business. Because in actuality, I come to this from a position of faith. I believe that we're all created with lots of gifts and lots of potential and in the image of God. And so in that, I believe that those employees, they have a bad weekend. They deserve the respect that they're human. They need to be dealt with as humans. But they also have potential that they haven't reached yet when you hire them. And so as a business leader and a business owner, we come at it and we say, like, if I just want you to hit that nail with the hammer till the day you die, I'm not only limiting you, but I'm limiting the potential of my own business. Because you've got way more to bring to the table than you're doing today. And my responsibility as the leader in that is to create an environment where you can actually come to the fullness of your potential, and also that you can on a totally selfish side, that you can actually benefit me most by what you bring to the table. So that's a huge part of the leadership and the team building stuff that I do. That is probably the biggest thing that I bring to the company. We have 28 staff, and even with the growth we've had over the last few years, we have staff retention of over 9 years, an average of over 9 years that people have been with us. So I'm gratified by that. I'm very thankful for that. That is the way it's gone, and it's fun to see guys that have been with me since I've been there since '97. There's some guys that are still with me there. One of the late things that I've learned in the business is we all have to be thinking about succession. No matter what stage of your business you're in, you have to be thinking about how's it going to continue. One of the things I didn't realize, that thinking about succession and continuing actually helps build your business. What it does is it makes your customers trust that there's going to be something going on the day you either get hit by the beer truck or you retire, that they can still trust your company and keep giving you business. Your employees are committed because they also realize that it's not all just about the old guy in the center office. It's there's a whole group of leaders that are now 10 to 15 years younger than me. They got more gas in the tank, they got more ideas, they've got the potential for the rest of the staff to really be committed to this thing is huge. They stay on, and so it's not only been a way for me to get value out of the company, it's been a way for all of us to build the company, to realize it's going to keep going beyond me and what I can do for the business. I mean, when you start to talk about succession, I'm only 52, but that's when you start to think, what's the next stage look like? But on the one side, I could only be half done with Silveridge. If that's, I mean, until they kick me out, maybe that's what's happening. But on the other side, who knows what the future looks like there. As far as the business is concerned, because we have satisfied a lot of developers, some of them own land in multiple locations. We are now being asked to do the same program in other cities. And in 2016, we'll probably do our first job outside of Lethbridge in the Calgary area, because we've satisfied a customer here who also has land in another area. So that's one of the ways we'll definitely keep on growing and working with the company. It's gratifying, it's fun. It's fun to think about, and it's been a pleasure to put this together and share with you. Whatever you can glean from it, take it, use it, and it's just been fun to share my experience. So thank you very much.